10 years ago, I lived in a small village. I was only 18 years old, young and naive. There was a boy in the village named Alex. He was handsome, and many girls liked him. I liked him too. At that time, Alex was 23 years old. He was older than me, but I didn't care. I loved him and believed he was kind and good. However, people in the village said bad things about him. My mother warned me, saying, "Alex is not a good boy, stay away from him." My aunt also said, "He is trouble." But I didn't listen, I loved him too much. One Saturday night, there was a dance party in our village. My friends and I wanted to go, but my mother didn't want me to. She said it wasn't safe. I begged her, "Please, Mom, I will stay with my friends." After some hesitation, she agreed but remained worried. At the party, there were not many people at first, but slowly, more arrived. Alex came too. When he looked at me and smiled, my heart started beating fast. He asked me to dance, and I was so happy. We danced together, and during the slow songs, he held my hand. During the breaks, we talked, and he made me laugh. I felt special. When the party ended, Alex suggested, "Let's go for a drive." Excited, I agreed. Alex had a nice car, and everyone in the village knew about it. We drove around the village. It was quiet and dark, with stars shining above. I felt happy. But then, Alex drove to a lonely place where there were no lights and no people. He stopped the car and looked at me. He moved closer and tried to kiss me. I said, "No, Alex, I want to go home." But Alex didn't listen. He grabbed my hand and touched me. I pushed him away, shouting, "Stop, Alex!" But he got angry. "You are boring," he said. Then, he opened the car door and pushed me out. I was alone. It was dark and cold. I was scared. My house was far, but I had no choice, I had to walk. My feet hurt, and my shoes were not made for walking long distances. I walked 3 kilometers in the dark, each step feeling heavier than the last. When I finally reached home, I was exhausted. My feet were covered in blisters. I sat on my bed and cried. My heart was broken. I had loved Alex, but he didn't care about me. The next day, I told my friends what had happened. They sighed and said, "Alex is always like this. He did the same to us." Shocked, I asked, "Why didn't you warn me?" They shrugged. "Everyone knows. We thought you knew too." Their words stung, but they opened my eyes. That night, I learned an important lesson. I became stronger. I stopped thinking about Alex. 2 years later, I moved to the city. I worked hard and built a good life for myself. Now, I am 28 years old, happily married, and expecting my first baby. My friends from the village sometimes tell me about Alex. He is not the same anymore. He drinks too much, and he had 2 failed marriages, both of his wives left him. When I hear these things, I feel lucky. My life is good. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. Sometimes, I still think about that night. It was painful, but it made me stronger. It taught me to value myself, to trust my instincts, and to never ignore red flags again. Every day, I walked to work and enjoyed my job at the bookstore. The scent of books, the quiet atmosphere, and the conversations with customers made me happy. One day, as I was heading to work, it suddenly started raining. I had forgotten my umbrella, so I stood under a tree, waiting for the rain to stop. Just then, a man approached me, holding a big red umbrella. "Do you need help?" he asked kindly. I looked at him. He was tall, with a warm smile and kind eyes. I nodded. "Yes, thank you," I said. He walked with me to the bookstore, shielding us both from the rain. His name was Daniel, and he worked in an office nearby. Before leaving, he asked, "Can I see you again?" I smiled and said, "Maybe." The next day, Daniel came to the bookstore and bought a book. The day after, he came again and bought another one. Soon, he started visiting every day. We talked about books, movies, and life. Dan was funny, and he made me laugh. Slowly, I started to like him. One day, he asked, "Do you want to go for coffee?" I said yes. We went to a small cafe near the bookstore, and it was a lovely evening. Daniel told me about his family. He had a younger sister whom he adored. He also shared his dream of traveling the world. I told him about my family too. I was an only child, and my parents lived far away. Sometimes, I missed them. As time passed, we started meeting more often. Our conversations grew deeper, and I realized I had found someone special. Adventures. Learning English through stories is a great way to improve your vocabulary and comprehension. Daniel and I often went to the park, watched movies, and visited museums. I was truly happy. But then, one day, Daniel stopped coming to the bookstore. I waited for him, hoping he would return, but a week passed, then too. I felt sad and confused. Where is he? I asked myself. I wanted to call him, but I didn't have his number. One evening, as I walked home, it started raining again. I felt lonely, missing Daniel more than ever. Suddenly, I saw a familiar red umbrella. It was Daniel, waiting for me outside my building. My heart jumped. "Where were you?" I asked, my voice filled with emotion. "I'm sorry," he said gently. "I had to visit my sister, she was sick." I smiled with relief. "I'm glad you are back," I said. Daniel held the umbrella over me and softly asked, "Let's go for a walk." We walked through the rain, the streets shining under the city lights. Everything felt magical, and I felt warm inside, despite the cold drizzle. After that night, we spent even more time together. Daniel made me believe in love again. He was kind, patient, and always there for me. Years passed, and now I am 30 years old. Daniel and I are married, living in a small house with a beautiful garden. Sometimes, when it rains, we take a red umbrella and go for a walk, just like we did that night. I often think about the day we met. Life is full of surprises, and sometimes, a small thing, like an umbrella, can change everything. Thank you for watching and spending time with me today. I hope you enjoyed the story and found it helpful for your English learning journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more stories and lessons. See you next time, and happy learning! Let me know your thoughts or questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next video. If you enjoyed the story, please like, subscribe, and share for more engaging content.